Breaking. February 24, 2017. The U.S. has been legally and or technically in a state of war since Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, declared war on the United States in 1996. And Muslim Brotherhood declares war on the United States in October of 2010, or ISIS declares war on U.S. Homeland in 2012, or any of the other approximately 86 Islamic terror groups around the world that any nation recognizes. The United Arab Emirates recognizes approximately 86, and UK recognizes some, Philippines recognizes some, so forth, so forth. Today's exhibit. Back in 2010, Jerusalem Post. Okay, this is about Muslim Brotherhood. The declaration of war that went unnoticed by Obama. Obama and his administration is largely filled with Muslim Brotherhood, Islamic pro-invasion forces. So this is no great surprise that the declaration of war by the Muslim Brotherhood in October of 2010 recently declared for jihad on the U.S. and Israel, adopting a view almost identical to Al-Qaeda's. Okay? And here's something important. The Muslim Brotherhood leader has endorsed anti-American jihad and a view virtually identical to Al-Qaeda's ideology. Since the Brotherhood is the main opposition in Egypt and Jordan, and the most powerful group in Muslim communities of Europe and North America, this is serious stuff. That was the Jerusalem Post, October the 10th, 2010, by Barry Rubin. Another one, World Daily Net exclusive, October 12th, 2010. It talks about Muslim Brotherhood declares war on U.S. Analysis compares leader's sermon to bin Laden pre-9/11 warning. And it goes into details. It goes into the detail about the Brotherhood and declaring war and so forth, so forth. It cites some URLs. It cites a 1991 document, an explanatory memorandum on the general strategy goal for the group of North America. There was actually an investigative report document number. Some of these had come out of actual legal cases where they found this evidence. It was presented in courts of law, FBI, so forth. They're well known. Okay, at least by any competent leader of the FBI or DOJ, this is well known. So that is that second article. It also talks about the Council of American Islamic Relations. Okay, prominent U.S. organizations launched by Muslim Brotherhood leaders include the Council on American Islamic Relations, the Muslim Students Association, North American Islamic Trust, the Islamic Society of North America, the American Muslim Council, the Muslim American Society, and the International Institute of Islamic Thought, Council of the American Islamic Relations, or CAR, a self-described civil rights group, has more than a dozen former and current leaders with known associations with violent jihad, and it gives the URLs. CAR's origin as a front group for the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas was documented in Muslim Mafia. CAR and some of the leaders were confirmed by the Justice Department as unindicted co-conspirators in a trial of the Texas-based Holy Land Foundation, which was convicted of helping fund Hamas. A lot of information there. The interesting thing there is The U.S. group, CAR, was actually named one of the 86 terrorist groups by the United Arab Emirates. And this is published November 17th, 2014. September 14th, 2014. See at the bottom, Fox News. Fox News. Council of America, CAR, a U.S.-based pro-Muslim group that enjoys close ties with the Obama administration, with terrorist organizations. The Council of the CAIR was one of 82 groups around the world that the United Arab Emirates placed, they considered Islamic terror groups. The last I heard, they're up to 86. Okay? What happened with that? If you track it, there's stories, credible news stories, that Obama sent John Kerry, the vice president, to go lobby them. Please, 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 take this off your Islamic terror list. We don't want to be exposed. We don't want to be exposed as Muslim Brotherhood and terrorists. And so that actually happened. They went to try to lobby them. I'm not sure if they're still listed, whatever. But the fact was that, Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim Brotherhood declares total war on Egypt. Okay, July 11, 2013, the Counter Jihad report at the bottom. Okay. July 5th, Muslim Brotherhood militants declared that they will establish a Taliban-style state that harbors Al-Qaeda, along with death threats to Abdul Fattah, Minister of Defense, as well as threats to Christians, stating, "We will destroy you and destroy Egypt. We will blow ourselves up in crowded areas and burn Christians alive." That was 213. And you still see those effects in 216 and 217. Christian churches being blown up, Christians being burned alive, ISIS slaves, slave girls being burned alive in cages because they won't have sex with their captives. Front page news, people, wake up. We're at war. Have been at war since 1991. Any federal government, congressperson, judge who gave aid and comfort to the enemy is technically a traitor, subject to criminal charges. Now, you say, well, what about England? England went to war. What do they think about Muslim Brotherhood? Here it is, December 2015. Muslim Brotherhood review statement by the government of England, UK, the former Prime Minister. Muslim Brotherhood review statement by Prime Minister. Despite Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood public condemnation of violence in 2012 and 13 and afterwards, some of their supporters have been involved in violent exchanges with the security forces and other groups. Media reports and credible academic studies indicate that in the last 12 months, a minority of Muslim Brotherhood supporters have engaged alongside with other Islamic and violent acts. Some senior leaders have publicly reiterated Muslim Brotherhood commitment to nonviolence, but others have failed to renounce the call for retribution in some recent Muslim Brotherhood statements. So you have variations in any religious sect. Some of them are more violent than others. December 22nd, 2015, UK, another article, newsmax.com. UK declares Muslim Brotherhood terror group. Breaks with Obama. Okay. United Kingdom declared the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist group after an 18-month study ordered by Prime Minister David Cameron, and the Obama administration slammed the document as flying in the face of the Brotherhood's history as a quote-unquote non-violent Islamic group. Islam is a religion of peace. That is all their typical lies. You know, they infiltrate the government, they force it down your throat, they commit terrorist attacks, and they don't prosecute the criminals as much as possible because they want to have more and more terrorist attacks. So regretfully, that is the state of the United States under Obama. 8 years of Muslim Brotherhood in the government, CAR in the government, spreading through the schools, soliciting more followers under different banners. ISIS attacks. ISIS declares in 2012, promising an attack worse than 9/11. Luckily, this one has not happened, but certainly it says, be ready. The leader of ISIS warned in July 2012, our war is for you. You only began now, more threats. So you see, there's plenty of information that these Islamic terror groups have declared war on the U.S. If President Bush or President Clinton or President Obama wants to give aid and comfort to groups that have declared war on your country, then any of those people are technically legally traitors, which is a capital offense. Okay? And all their lesser peons that followed the dictator decrees, technically, if they thought that they could do any harm, these people could do any harm to your citizens, but failed to report it to appropriate leaders, judges, governor of your state, president of the U.S. Obviously, I couldn't report it to the president of the U.S. because the president of the U.S. is a Muslim Brotherhood spy and collaborator. So I reported it. And in this spring of last year, I reported my information I had to publicly to governors of various states, as many states as I could get in contact with. And so I fulfilled my legal obligation to bring up the evidence and the facts to what I consider to be treason, blatant treason against the people of the United States, against the Constitution of the United States, to try to overthrow the government and replace it with some form of foreign laws, whether it's Sharia-only laws, whether it's La Raza, whether it's Antifa, whether it's communism, socialism. It doesn't matter. If you want to replace the government and you want to do it by violence, you're advocating violence. It's actually treason, it's sedition. There's a whole bunch of names for it. And so that is what I'm closing with today in part 3.